Did they miss on range? Yeah. What else did they miss on besides range?
Well, that's a big thing.
What else did they miss? No. What else did they miss besides range?
The range, let's just take range. I'm telling you, that is, I have never seen Tesla do
What else?
this.
Give me something else. So you're admitting they
I don't
delivered
have to
on.
give you something else. What do you mean, give me something else? I'm like
It sounds
telling
like
you.
what you're saying is you admit that
I'm pointing to the elephant in the room. You go like, well, what else you got? Well, I got the elephant in the room. I mean, range is the most important thing in an electric car. And,
No, so
okay. I'll give you something else. Great.
Well, that's
you know
not
what?
true.
I will. Okay, ready? The most important thing about the second most important thing about an electric car is the range. So they underdelivered. The most important thing about an electric car or any car is
The price?
the price. Did they deliver on the price?
No.
Okay, so now there's two elephants in the room.
Not yet.
Ford and almost all other manufacturers do need to get their shit together because I mean, listen, there are tons of problems that I have with Ford F-150 Lightning. For example, it's still not built on an actual e-platform, right? It's essentially regular gas. It's a conversion job, and I don't think the range is appropriate. And there's like tons of other things and issues with the Ford F-150 Lightning. Trust me, I've criticized them enough where Ford does no longer invite me to their events, okay? That's how much I criticize. So don't give me that shit where I don't go after everybody but Tesla.
People come out with a prototype and then they often don't live up to what they say their prototype's going to do. You have it at auto shows all the time that auto companies put up a prototype and then what they deliver looks nothing like the prototype and doesn't have the features that the prototype said. But somehow when Tesla delivers 90% of what they said they were going to do, and then they deliver other things that they didn't even mention, that doesn't get any credit at all. Now,
I'll tell you why that is. Because no one's bragging and attacking other manufacturers like Elon Musk and the army of Tesla fans. That's why.
Definitely, I can understand the people who wanted 500 miles of range, disappointed that the Cyber Beast doesn't have 500 miles of range.
Wait. Come on, let's back up a little. Why did they expect 500-mile range, though? Because Elon Musk promised, right? He said, I mean, it was big letters, big everything. I was there in person in that event, right? I remember.
I don't agree with the word promise. That was the spec they were shooting for, and they fell short of that spec. I'll give you this. You are correct. They did not deliver the 500 miles range that they said they would deliver on the Cybertruck tri-motor.
Or it's just the other way of saying they promised. The entire automotive industry has failed over the last many years because Tesla has showed them what it takes to be a leader in the industry. And they cannot even copy Tesla a lot of times, right? Much less take a leadership role, BMW, Volkswagen or whatever, Volkswagen Group. They have completely failed into actually taking this, away from Tesla and running in a certain direction. Now, the company that's probably going to do it, and unfortunately is going to be Chinese company, is BYD. I mean, you're here in Bangkok, you see BYDs are pretty much outselling Teslas, right? And at the better prices, and they have 14 models, I believe, on the market right now to Tesla's, 5. If you care about resale value of your car, you do not buy a Tesla, okay? I just brought up the Hertz story. I can bring it up again. I think Hertz is going to lose a quarter of $1 billion.
Wait.
Hold on.
You bring up the Hertz story as if it's only Teslas. Were there other EVs?
80% of them are Teslas. And the reason they lost so much money on the value of a Tesla is because what Tesla does with pricing. It doesn't even have anything to do with like car actual depreciation. It's keeps it up. 80% of their fleet is Teslas. And what's losing them money more than anything are the EVs, which is majority of Teslas. And the reason Teslas are losing so much in value, not just for Hertz, but a lot of people who bought their Teslas that year is because Tesla jacked up their prices and then dropped it. And therefore, the depreciation of Teslas actually has nothing to do with the quality of the product. It has to do with what Tesla does with pricing.
From a consumer perspective, I suppose if Ford wants to give trucks away and give consumers $50,000 effectively, they make a truck for $100,000, they sell it for $50,000. Sure, the consumer should be thrilled with that. It's not a long-term sustainable model.
They're not going to sustain it long-term. They're going to start turning a profit at some point. It's just not right now.
Well, when? How?
What do you mean how? What is it? Listen, just like Tesla was losing money at first a lot. Remember, Tesla was almost went belly up. Remember? Like, do you guys
More
like
than once.
Tesla?
More than once.
Well, no, Tesla almost went belly up once, and you know who bailed them out, right? Mercedes bailed them out. So it's just they will figure it out. I'm not worried about it. Hertz has a very, very large size of Tesla examples and samples, right? They also are not a person or a fanboy or a hater. They are just a business, and they're telling us their report, like they figure out the numbers compared to other cars. The rest of their fleet is essentially gas-powered cars. Getting Tesla to repair their cars and getting the parts is taking way longer, where it's not worth it. I mean, that's a pretty substantial report from an absolutely non-biased entity. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, that's just as pure of the number in a business decision as it gets. The majority of them, Honda, Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, all of those companies had this 10 years to try to make something out of themselves, and they didn't. And I have a big problem with it. This is why, actually, most of the channels that are dedicated to electric cars, definitely including this one, are really not growing and are not really getting that many views because people are not excited about the F-150 Lightning, right? It's a great electric truck, you know, but there's nothing exciting about it. And about all these cars that I've been reporting on over the last 2 or 3 years, I'm honestly fucking bored. This is where you lose me, because I don't understand what does that have to do with consumers? Because, you know, my channel is not an investor channel. My channel is not like engineering channel. My channel is about what's good for the customers. I don't understand why you don't check, or you, by not just you, Warren, but like this Tesla fans, like you guys don't check whether, you know, the company that sold you this t-shirt or your shoes or your couch, whether or not that is a profitable company, but somehow you really care about whether or not the company that sells you cars is a profitable company. What do I care whether or not Ford makes or loses money on the F-150 Lightning if I want one?
Okay, so, well, the answer is, okay. So it's a fair point. Ford is probably not going to go under in the next 3 years.
So what's the point then?
But the practical point is that long run, if you lose money on every vehicle you make, you will go out of business. It might take longer for Ford than it'll take for Rivian, but long run, you're going to go out of business.
Yeah, but Ford is not sitting there and just losing money and goes like, well, what are you going to do, you know? No, this is obviously a beginning of them converting their business from gas to electric, which is much more difficult than actually starting a business that's fully electric. You know, they're not idiots over there. They will absolutely make money on this truck sooner or later.
Did they miss on range? Yeah. What else did they miss on besides range?
Well, that's a big thing.
What else did they miss? No. What else did they miss besides range?
The range, let's just take range. I'm telling you, that is I have never seen Tesla do
What else?
that.
Give me something else. So you're admitting they
I
delivered
don't have
on.
to give you something else. What do you mean give me something else? I'm like
sounds
telling
like
you.
What you're saying is you admit that
I'm pointing to the elephant in the room. You go like, well, what else you got? Well, I got the elephant in the room. I mean, range is the most important thing in an electric car. And,
no, so
okay. I'll give you something else. Great.
Well, that's
you know
not
what?
True.
I will. Okay, ready? The most important thing about the second most important thing about an electric car is the range. So they underdelivered. The most important thing about an electric car or any car is
the price.
The price. Did they deliver on the price?
No.
Okay. So now there's two elephants in the room.
Not yet.
What's going to happen when we do have 200,000 Cybertrucks on the road and they start getting into accident and require repairs?
What's one of the biggest challenges? What's one of the biggest challenges with repairing a vehicle? Isn't it matching the color of the paint on the body part?
No, that's not what. No,
you didn't know that. You don't know that it's a big challenge when you've got a car.
Oh, it's a big challenge, but it's not the biggest problem. What I'm trying to tell you is that when those trucks will have to get repaired, there will be very few places to be repaired. There will be no independent shops to be repaired because that's a stainless steel. That's the only car in the market, essentially. And what's going to happen, the insurance rates are also going to go up drastically. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some relatively minor damage to a Cybertruck can total the entire car just because of how expensive it might be fixed, and because that's a call of an insurance company, right?